So we're at the Denver World's Fair of Money. I'm with David McCarthy of Kagin's today. Dave, I understand you have a unique piece, one of a kind.
I literally have a unique coin. This is the 1783 plain obverse Quint, which earlier this week we were able to announce was the very first coin struck by the United States government.
How do you go about authenticating a piece like this?
Well, authenticating this piece was easier than figuring out that it came first. This piece was actually struck using the same reverse die as the Quint that was in the set that was delivered to Congress. And of course we have provenance on that piece that goes all the way back to Charles Thompson, who was the Secretary of Congress. And this coin was struck using that same die. The real challenge with this coin was taking a look at all the historical data and all of the forensic data on this coin and the coins that are in the set in order to be able to ascertain just how many coins were struck and delivered and what order they were delivered in. And what we were able to do was we were able to determine that this die that's shared between these two coins struck this coin before it struck the one in the set. There were some alterations made to the die. And that right there proves that this coin is from before the coin in the set. But the other thing is, this die, the front, which is a totally different design, actually was the same piece of steel. They put it on a lathe or something along those lines and ground the front of it off and then recut the entire die before they struck the one that's in the set.
Do you know what the design symbolizes?
Well, in the middle there you see an eye. That's the all-seeing eye of God. A lot of people have been saying Illuminati where this is concerned, and there is definitely a connection with this image in Masonry, but not until 4 years after this coin was designed. And then around it are what they call a glory of rays, and around that you have 13 stars. And what this represents is Providence basically smiling upon the United States, which they considered a new constellation made up of 13 states. So those stars represent the 13 states, and that's actually an element on this coin that makes its way onto almost all U.S. coins, at least in the 19th century and into the early 20th century. You know, you often see 13 stars on coins. That comes from these coins.
It's very cool. And on the reverse, is there...
On the reverse, there's a wreath, and it says Libertas et Justitia, which actually means liberty and justice. And of course, we held on to liberty on all of our coins, too. This is where it shows up first. Apparently, they weren't as concerned with justice after 1783. And it says US 500, and that's because this is a 500-unit coin. This coin is really important because it's the first US coin, but the other thing that really makes it incredibly historically important is it's the very first decimal coin that is struck in either Western Europe or North America. And this coin was shown to Alexander Hamilton, who immediately adopted the idea of decimal coinage. And then the set that was struck after this coin was delivered to Robert Morris, and that ultimately went to Thomas Jefferson, influenced Thomas Jefferson, and actually kind of won him over to this idea that we should be using a decimal coinage, which is something I think everyone in the world takes for granted. Whenever you're getting change at the supermarket, you do all the math in your head because it's all base 10. Everything divides by 10, and it's very simple. Imagine having to divide by 12, which was what you had to do with British coins, or divide by 8, which you had to do with Spanish coins. It's not as simple. And so this is actually any piece of money that you've used in your life that is base 10 traces its lineage right back to this exact coin.
It's amazing.
It's cool
the history is super fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for showcasing the coin today. Dave, good luck with the rest of the show.
Always a pleasure.